As always, if you're watching this afterwards, thank you for joining in. Sorry you missed the live stream, but I wanted to at least do something for 10,000 subscribers. I didn't think it was actually going to be this quick. I remember 3 days ago, I was like, oh, it'll probably be by the end of next week. Yesterday, it was, oh, it'll be by the end of the weekend. And then last night, I was actually talking with some people on Discord, and I looked, and it was one person in a way. I'm like, oh, it's today. So this is a little unexpected, but at the same time, I'm really excited for anyone that joins me now or after the fact. I appreciate you joining me for this little celebration. I don't know how long it's going to be. I thought that maybe I'd do this for like an all-day thing. But honestly, I've been a little bit sick, so I don't really want to do this all day. But I will go as long as possible. And everyone's in here. All right, good. Everyone's already coming in. Oh, you're all coming in like open the floodgates. All right, so let's see here. Let me get this pulled up so I can actually read the chat. I'm so underprepared. Oh my gosh, they're pouring in. I love it. All right, no volume. We don't need that. Sorry, I just want to make sure I get the live chat set up. All right. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. All right, so many people are coming in. Look at this. Tonight we drink cranberry juice. Hello, everyone. Oh, man, this is like a Halloween live stream, too. I'm sorry I'm not dressed up. All right, I'm just going to go through the list. Loopy Doopy 504, hello. Frozen Iron Forge, hello. Devin Gaugan? Hello. Calvin, it's good seeing you. Wyatt, great seeing you. Tyler Loki-son, wonderful seeing you too. What's up, Laura? What's up, Rich? What's up, Raph4762? What's up, Castellane, All Things Vintage? What's up? It's Wyatt again. It's Calvin again. There's Alone Time and Peace of Mind. It's so good to see you, Joshua, Ross. Flashing Wolf. Oh, there's so many of you, and I love it. Yeah, no, thank you. This is a really amazing thing. Having 10,000 subscribers. I mean, YouTube, the Wisdom of Odin YouTube has been around, since August of last year. So what is that? 14 months? A year and 2 months, 10,000 subscribers. Amazing. I'm pretty sure, actually here, I can check this. I am pretty sure that I posted a video around this time last year where I was celebrating having like 200 subscribers. So that's pretty amazing. Let's see. Oh, YouTube updated. Why would you do this? Oh my gosh. Oh my. That's new. Okay. Why would you do this to me right before I live stream YouTube? You jerk. All right. So I uploaded a video, The Wisdom of Odin, a new chapter on November 26th. So a month. Okay. This was right when I got back from Wardruna last year. And I think I only had like 120 subscribers, or no, like 90. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. And here we are at 10,000. Yeah, and so many of you, yeah, like Thrash and Wolf, you've been here for a long time. Daniel Bergerson, yes. I've seen so many of you for the longest time. It's been a crazy journey. What's up? What's me? Oh my gosh, so many people in here. 42. Welcome to the celebration. I wish I had like confetti or something. I should have prepared this more. But I mostly just wanted to give everyone some time. You know, if you have any questions or we can just reminisce together. I have all my videos pulled up here on the side. That way I can kind of just go through them and reminisce. That's what I was doing last night with the gods, kind of. I just sat on my porch and poured out a little bit of a drink, and I just kind of reflected. Like the first time I went out with my camera way back in August of last year, and sat down for the first time and tried to record, and I had done videos up to that point, as far as like, small video work and whatnot, but nothing, where it was just me. So it's kind of wild. Confetti poppers would have been great. I wish I had something like one of those like little things. Oh yeah, I should have. Vincent Ostatru, greetings from Thailand. I was about to get ready to go to bed when the YouTube notified me. Man, it is late in Thailand, but thank you for being here. Everyone, that's what always amazes me about these live streams is how many people are from like all around the world. I mean, we have people from Thailand, Australia, Spain, England, I mean, of course, the United States, Canada, Colombia, Brazil. I mean, people all around the world. It's really a magical thing. I'm so glad I could surprise so many of you with this live stream. Like I was kind of saying in the very beginning, I don't know how long this is going to go. I had dreams and aspirations Last night I was like, oh, I'm going to do like an 8-hour live stream to celebrate and just plow through it. But honestly, I've been kind of like sick, or at least unwell the last week. It's not the Rona, but it's definitely like put me down for a few days. I'm on a lot of bed rest. So hopefully that's cleared up soon. So I'm still not like 100%. I'm still a little tired. Let's see. My face is so, why is it so white? I mean, I am pale, but that's so weird. Okay, look at it. I have a question. I'm a Norse pagan, but it's okay to practice non-Norse pagan magic. What do you qualify as non-Norse pagan magic? That's my question. Literally hiding in my ultrasound room to watch? What? Are you at like a hospital and you're hiding in the ultrasound room? I love it. I love it. Well, yeah, the white balance settings. Yeah, I don't think I can even do that with like the live stream. No, I cannot. There's like no settings whatsoever because I'm streaming on my phone. That's my phone, which means I can't talk to anyone besides right now. And then here's the comments. So yeah, I can't do anything. So the person asking about magic, I don't know if I have that answer for you, and I don't know if I can speak on that answer. The best thing I can say is consult the gods as we know them and kind of see if they give you any signs. I don't want to say anything that's against the faith or against the gods in any way. So yeah, I would consult them when it comes to practicing non-Norse pagan stuff. Typically, like, I don't think there should be an issue, but I'm not magically inclined enough to even tell you, like, don't do that. Just be safe. Be careful. I don't have the exact answer for you, though. Love the fact that his face opens up so many doors when explaining to people. More doors when explaining to people. Even enjoyed those little art notes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm still kind of blown away. I mean, I really don't even know how to comprehend looking at that 10K under the Wisdom of Odin. Truly, I'm trying to think of the list of like Norse pagan YouTubers, and I think I'm like number 5, maybe number 6, depending on who you count. Obviously you have, I think Bjorn Bull Hansen's the top. Bjorn Bull Hansen has like 323,000 subscribers. Crawford has like 130, I think, 140. Aerith Holger, his last name's Holger, right? His subscribers, I think, are 80,000. They're getting close to 100,000. And then you have like Freya Nordling at 20,000. And then there's me. I'm pretty sure that's the breakdown. I think there's like Survive the Jive is pretty high up there, but he's not exclusively Norse pagan, I don't think. So yeah, that's kind of wild. That's really wild. That's why it's kind of like blowing my mind. And then you have like Crawford. It's like, technically you're not a Norse pagan, or at least you're not saying you're a Norse pagan. So it's like his content, yes, helps us all a lot, but technically is a Norse pagan. So, yeah, so if you guys have any questions for me or anything like that, a few updates. So the music video is completely done. I have the final drafts sent out to the publisher. They are reviewing I gave them like 3 final breakdowns, like what colors they wanted. And once they choose, basically it's sent out, and then it's up to them whether they post it or not. Well, when they post it, I hope they post it. Everyone seems to really enjoy it. The people I've tested it to said they've really enjoyed it. I'm very excited for the project, and I'm basically done with the behind the scenes footage, so that'll come out next week. So you'll be able to see like a few, like the idea behind the music video. I obviously can't put any footage of the music video within that video because of contracts, but at the same time, like I've put some, unused footage as well as the footage I captured along that week as well. It's going to be a long night. I was supposed to be asleep like 3 hours ago, and you go live. Sorry. I needed something to relax to with my tea. I feel like I'm just chilling on your couch listening. I was like, wait, who's chilling on my couch? And then I was like, oh, it's Kat. You've been on my couch before. Oh, I lost track. Midgard Musings, Aerith Harger. That's right. I apologize. And Wisdom of Odin is where I go most of my knowledge off of. Yeah, Midgard Musings, I think he's around 3K. I remember looking up to him because I had like 400 and he had like 2,000 or something like that. He's actually pretty close to me. I think Jesse has good content. I just wish he would like get out there more, and actually show us the practice. We're into another good book I haven't seen on your page. Great intro book for beginners, North Myths, Viking Legends of Heroes by Martin Daltrey. I'm actually going to look that up. I can't remember Martin Daltrey. I think I might have mentioned it before. No, I can't find it. That's too much work. I think I've seen that book before. I don't think I've talked about it. I think I've mentioned Martin Daltrey before. I think maybe in my runes video, but maybe not that in particular. Any update on the poetry book? So the poetry book technically is still happening. However, the publisher was having some family issues, like a crisis basically popped up. So the publisher's had to kind of go on lockdown. She's done nothing for the last few months. So I'm waiting to hear back from her. As soon as she's her life's getting back stable, we'll start working together again. But for right now, it's kind of on hold, sadly. If push comes to shove, I mean, at a certain point, I might be like, hey, do you mind if I like break off and just publish it on Amazon myself? I don't necessarily want to do that. But at the same time, I do want to make sure these poems get out. I mean, I have 50 poems just sitting here waiting to be published, and I do think it's a really cool project. But I want to be able to work with somebody, especially, I mean, Carrie's the owner, and she's a wonderful human being, so I want to work with her. Sorry if I'm spamming the Wi-Fi is really bad. I have a question. When worshiping a god, is there anything like protection that I need to do before starting? So not necessarily, it depends on what god. I guess if you're going out to talk to Odin, I don't really think you need any form of protection. I mean, I guess it depends on what you're asking. Now, if you start talking to like older beings, I mean, I know some people, I'm completely not into this, but some people talk to like Fenrir, and then of course we've had our run-in with Agrabotha at a certain gathering, and that was wild. So there are certain deities that you probably want to be more protective against. I don't know if I have the resources to tell you how to protect yourself, but just use caution. I mean, Thor, you're not going to have any problems with, Freya, you're not going to have any problems with, but yeah, once you start diving into like Agrabotha and Fenrir and stuff like that, and the older beings, you might want to, one, if you don't know protection, you probably shouldn't be talking to them. Those are beings that I don't suggest you just casually start having a relationship with. But the normal everyday gods, the normal everyday, the normal deities, I don't think you shouldn't need anything. Just be respectful. Nidhogg is pretty grumpy. Just a warning. Yeah, I don't know many people that have said something about Nidhogg. I've met people that have asked me about it, but that's just one of those things like, why? What is your opinion on Rock-a-True? I don't know what that is. Can you specify? Let's see. The Wisdom of Odin. Can I become a Norse pagan as someone of Iberian and Latin descent? Fellow pagans have said yes, I can, but I would like your input. I will say what I've always said. If the gods call to you, it's good enough. Who am I to say the gods are not, calling you or whatever? Just be true to the faith, be an honorable and respectful human being. And if you say Odin talks to you, great. Let's keep going. The morning I was in my room on my Xbox with my buddies who are also Norse pagans, and a stretch, all of our Xbox disconnected from the TV as the HDMI cord came unplugged. I believe it was Loki. Could be. I have to defend my Loki compatriots here. We have a lot of like Loki followers within the community. I've given to him very moderately, but they try to push me. They're like, look, don't blame every small thing on Loki. Sometimes it could be housewives, it could be elves, it could be the Fae, it could be a lot of things. It's not necessarily Loki every time something happens. He's our fallback, but definitely like grand funny things, like where you sit back and you're like, oh, that was like a big trickery thing. Like the Loki followers, this has been your PSA, and you're welcome, Kristen, for protecting your patron. Oh, and Laura as well. Let's see. You guys are all just talking. I love it. A couple of my friends talk about Rock-a-True, probably not, as the worship of Ragnarok gods, Loki, Nidhogg, Jormungandr, but it seems to be taboo or looked down by others. So I guess my question of that is why? What do you, obviously Loki worship is fine, many people worship Loki, but like worshiping like Jormungandr, like what do you have to gain, I guess is the big question. I worship Odin because it's a two-way road. I, help with this community and Odin gives me wisdom, or, I help better myself and, try to become a strong leader and live by wisdom and virtues and whatnot. And Odin assists me. But I don't know what the two-way street is for someone like Jormungandr or, Surt or Fenrir. I don't know what you're getting from that relationship. To me, it seems like almost like parasitical, like they're just going to take from you. Or, I don't really know what the purpose of that is. And now if it can be clarified and someone can say, oh yeah, I get, my life has been changed by Jormungandr, but I've never met someone that said that. So that's my opinion on that. Rocketry, angsty, misanthropic, Satanist heathens. Yeah, I don't know. I need to get in the Discord. Yeah, Patreon. Get in the Discord. It's fun. So, that's one of the things I can talk about. So, it hasn't been confirmed yet. Like, we've sent in the information to the Verbo, but we found a house that can hold 65 people for Yule. And we're waiting to hear back on it. So, hopefully we get that back pretty soon. And for the summer, it has outdoor tents as well that you can rent out. So it can have up to 95 people in warmer weather. So we might be doing that for Midsummer as well. And it has a big pavilion in the center. You can have live music. It's on an inlet, so there's it's surrounded by a lake. It's completely secluded with trees. It's like a whole compound. It's awesome. So we got that sent in for Yule. We're waiting to hear back confirmation. And if we hear back, we're gonna have 65 people for Yule. It's gonna be crazy. But hold back on information. We'll get there. My first experience was Draw a Tear. I need to it's so hard to read these, and I'm like, should I comment on these? But you guys are awesome. That's what I'll say. Any folk here from Minnesota? There are a few people in Minnesota. I've seen them in the chat hiding around. Daniel Jackson, I've seen the pics. I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm so excited for that location. And definitely for Midsummer. I mean, I've been talking about having 100 people for Midsummer, and that's going to be one of my declarations for the new year, is to have a gathering of at least 100 people. Because that just seems like a really crazy thing, and it's why not? I mean, this year has escalated so fast. I mean, we started with 9, and now we're talking about having 65 at Yule. Man, why is this hold on, let me see if I can fix this. It's just so weird how it's just blowing out my face every now and then. West Coast Pagans. Yeah, where are your West Coast Pagans at? We had a West Coast talk last night, and there was 9 people in there from the Discord, and we're going to try to have a West Coast gathering, looking about 20 people in Yosemite National Park in the spring. So really excited for that. We have a lot of gatherings going on. I know we have, I think, 3 or 4 Yule gatherings, all within the Wisdom of Odin community. We're going to have probably 5 or 6, if not 7, spring gatherings. So everything's building up quite a bit. Jacob, you got to check out Barbarians on Netflix. Yeah, I've heard pretty good things about it. I've been kind of waiting. See if I just open this up. No, that's made everything worse. I'm so pale. Nah, I don't know. You're just gonna have to deal with my super white face. I don't know why. Whatever. Sorry. But every time I look back, I'm like, God, what is that ghost? I really wish I could go to one of the gatherings since I'm somewhat near Kentucky, being in Virginia, but I need my license and the car. Yeah, the car would probably help. Beowulf, Greymane, thank you so much for the compliment. No, thank you everyone for being in here. Oh my gosh, I didn't say there was 100 people in here. Wow, thank you everyone. And once again, thank you everyone that's been here. I mean, I've been live streaming on and off the last few months, and each time it's been kind of crazy talking to all the people I haven't talked to yet. Obviously, the Patreon and Discord community is a great way to get to know everyone, but I mean, there's also 10,000 now people following this page. That I haven't, I mean, at least, 9,000 of them I haven't talked to. So it's so great to get to talk to everyone. But yeah, this has been just such a crazy journey. I mean, it wasn't like I said, a year ago, I was in this apartment for the first time saying guys, I'm so excited. I have 120 subscribers. And now here we are nearly a year later from that moment at 10,000 subscribers. I mean, it really is. I wish I could show you the graph, but literally in the last few weeks, it has just skyrocketed. And I think it might have to do a little bit with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. With that popping up, a lot more people are starting to become interested, and I'm kind of bracing myself for that. I know that's going to bring on a lot of traffic as far as people being interested. And I thought about making a video kind of baiting it a little bit, because I don't like the term Viking religion or the Viking gods, because obviously this extends way farther than that. But I thought about making a video called the Viking gods or the Viking religion, or where to start with the Viking religion. And of course, returning subscribers will be why are you saying that? But it's there literally to trap the new Valhalla people. And be like, okay, great, I pulled you in here. We're not Vikings, but I'm glad you enjoyed the game. Now, this is what the modern world does as far as the faith. This is what we know about the faiths. And so using that as like my spider web to get all the new flies in, you know? Saw my first video of yours last night. Thank you for your knowledge. Chris R., welcome. One of my favorite things is when I see people discover my videos for the first time and I watch them go back to my first video, YouTube introduction, which is just, oh my gosh, it feels like a lifetime ago. And they go through all the videos all the way up to the times. I'm like, man, you have witnessed a journey. And that's really the cool thing. I mean, I've made some mistakes along the way, and I have a couple videos out there that I probably would take down, but I want people to see my journey, to see my flaws, and to see where I am now. I think I brought it up in the last live stream, and I've thought about making a full video to kind of counteract it. But like my Norse holidays, like 4 traditional Norse pagan holidays, like it's not actually accurate, and I admit that. One, I shouldn't have called it the traditional Norse pagan holidays because it's not really about the traditional ones. It's more the modern holidays that are used, and it's based off the solar calendar, whereas the traditional holidays were based off the lunar calendar and which were much different. And we actually don't know the complete list of holidays celebrated. I mean, there's like Charming of the Plow. There, like, I don't believe there actually was a no star. It was like, there really wasn't there. That's been something that's been added earlier, like later on in modern heathen practice. But there was like the Charming of the Plow, there was Midsummer, there was a Yule, but technically Yule was in January, and there was Winter Nights, and yeah. So the holidays are a little off as far as like our modern practice, just simply because we follow the solar calendar. I mean, most people don't follow the lunar calendar anymore, and it's very impractical to follow that in our modern world. I mean, more power to you if you can, and not to mention it's harder to keep track of the holidays then. I think the lunar calendar makes more sense. Why don't we just follow the cycles of the moon? I mean, it's a natural cycle. But also I enjoy the solar calendar as well as like the markings of moments where it's like, hey, the end of winter, the beginning of summer. It's very, I don't know, I like the cyclical aspect, and I've learned a lot from it. Looking at Midsummer and then going down to now, getting close to Yule and seeing the difference between Midsummer and Yule is pretty amazing. I mean, we woke up at like 5:30 in the morning to the sunrise and went to bed at 9:30 at night on the sunset on Midsummer. That's crazy, really absorbing how much day there is during that. And then going to Yule, and we'll wake up at like 8 to sunrise, and then, by 5 the sun will set. And that's kind of a crazy, I mean, how much that changes. I mean, so I really enjoy that aspect, and I think it's a great way to mark our journey. So I will probably continue to have our major gatherings and or celebrate my major moments on the solar holidays. However, I recognize the lunar holidays are actually traditional ones. So that's my long-winded explanation to the people who find that video and they're like, this is not quite right. And I'm 100% agreeing with you. I was not 100% right on that. But, I thought about redoing it and doing a whole nother video, but we'll see. All right, back to the comments. How's everyone doing? I'm just now beginning my religious journey, so not entirely clued up on it. So yeah, just keep researching. A lot of people, I feel like, want this religion spoon-fed to them, and that's not an insult. It's just the truth. It's a lot of people, and I think this is Christianity's fault, expect there to be like a blueprint of how to worship these gods and how to live in this faith. And quite frankly, it's an experience. It's a journey, and it's going to be years of your life. If you truly commit to this, you're going to learn things every single day until the day you die. And I'm still learning. I have much more to learn. Reflecting on 10,000 subscribers, how much I have learned in the last year, and thinking about how much more there is to learn is truly a magical experience. Honestly, YouTube has been a very therapeutic thing for me to look back and see how much I've grown personally, religiously, and technically with the videos and stuff. I mean, watching the music video, I'm like, whoa, hey, I'm actually pretty good at this. All right. Jacob, how do you give offerings via bonfire? Put that shit in. Just dump it in there. Now, as far as like a full-fledged bonfire, now one thing that they did at the Northern Gathering, which I really liked, is they had a bonfire pre-set up and they had like, fuel on it. And so everyone put their offerings in there and then they lit it on fire. So that's one way to do it. And I think that is something that is done a lot, where especially if you're a lot of people, you pile your offerings together and then you burn it, or you have that group offering. And I really enjoyed that. But as far as like a bonfire, yeah, just pour it in there. Obviously, if you're putting things like glass or stuff in there, I know some people have done that, but just make sure you retrieve it the next morning. Don't leave trash, let the goodness burn out, but don't leave trash in the fire. All right, scrolling down here. Hello from Ecuador. Who was that? Son of the Chords. Awesome. I don't know if I've ever met someone from Ecuador in this community. So, I mean, South America, I'm meeting a lot more people. I mean, like I said, we got Colombia, Brazil, and a few more. But Ecuador, that's awesome. Samhain, is it Samhain? Samhain is a big holiday for me just because I work heavily with the beloved dead and the ancestors. So yeah, Samhain or Samhain or whatever it's called. That is Celtic, if I'm not mistaken, which, you know, the Celts and the Germans and the Scandinavians, especially if you read Myths and Symbols of Pagan Europe, I should start getting paid for every book that is sold because I bring up that book all the time, but I love it. Myths and Symbols in Pagan Europe by H.R. Ellis Davidson. It talks about the connection between the Celts, the Germans, and the Norse and the Scandinavians, and how all of the religions kind of molded together, you know, here and there. And so, like, that's why when I say, like, Ostara, like, yes, that's technically a Celtic holiday, but at the same time, like, well, one, clearly there's some Irish and English in me. So I don't think, you know, it's a, you know, that's why I've said it in the past. All right. You are shining. Yeah, no, I am being blown up by this sun. Do you know any specific dates for the Kentucky Yule Gathering? Yes, I do. It is the 11th through the 14th of December is when it will be, as long as the plans hold true. We have resubmitted our application to get that place. Hopefully it gets accepted here soon. What's your plans for Halloween? I'm going on a date. Thank you so much for your video. One last thing. I don't know if I got a sign, but I love the community and I really want to go get into it. Disclaimer, I'm from Cuba and I don't know if I'm able to get in. As long as you can find people in Cuba, go for it. I mean, you might have to, I don't know. I've never met someone in Cuba. Wow, we got someone from Cuba and Ecuador. No, I mean, if you can, that's the biggest thing is finding others to do it. You know, maybe finding people that are just interested in paganism and kind of getting together would probably be the best way. To near know Yggdrasil as a shrub. There's anything I need to do when I get an oath ring. I'm still learning a lot. So oath rings is been a very interesting debate of the last 3 months, if not longer. So oath rings are almost polarizing in a way. Public oath ring ceremonies, to me, I will probably not do another one. I'm not, you know, I feel like the look comes from the Vikings TV show quite a bit as far as the, you know, the scene where Bjorn gets his oath ring for the first time and swears oath to a Jarl. Now, oaths were very important. We know oath rings have been mentioned within, I believe, Egil's saga, if I'm not mistaken, and within the Tales of the Icelandic people. But I don't know, or at least oaths in general being sworn. So I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like, in modern practice, you know, I swear my oaths on this. If I swear, you know, when I swore my last oath to Freya, you know, I swore it on this, you know, and I swear all my oaths on this. But actually getting it, I don't think you need to like activate it. It really is an adornment for yourself. But when you do make a promise, you swear it on this and you carry it with you. I mean, it's very simple. But as far as like swearing an oath to a god, yeah, that's something that's like, that's where a lot of the debate comes from, because I don't think a lot of people really understand the power of an oath to a deity. And so I don't really want to make a video because I don't want to be, you know, liable for these people making these aggressive oaths to the gods and not upholding them, because I have already seen people make oaths to the gods and break them. And it's like, I don't want to see this and I don't want to encourage it. If anything, I'm going to make a video, just tell you to stop swearing oaths to gods, because it's, you know, you really got to know. You know, I have an oath to Odin and Freya and they will be upheld my entire life. So yeah, it's one of those things where I'm really struggling to find the right words and find the right way to bring this up to people. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. But really, you can just wear it. You don't need to do an activation thing or anything with that, like an oath ring. Just wear all of your oaths on it. All right. How'd you get into Norse paganism? I mean, I've kind of gone through this quite a bit. I mean, my introduction was really through Buddhism. And I was, oh my gosh, it is just driving me crazy how like blown out my face is. Let's see what I can do here. What if I put this right there? Yeah. Okay, I think this will be a little better. Every time I looked at my face, it's completely different. So yeah, I got into Norse paganism through Buddhism, and the only reason I say that is because I read a line from the Dalai Lama talking about how everyone should follow the traditions of their ancestors, and they will find their true faith there. How it's great. You can learn from Buddhism. Everyone can learn from all languages, but you should definitely travel your ancestry to see your faith. And that's what I did. I came through it through ancestry. My father's always said that we're Scandinavian. My grandfather's always said, our Viking heritage and whatnot. And obviously, like the bushy red beard and everything like that. So going through it ancestral for me is how. There's more than that way to find this faith, but most people I find this faith through their ancestry. And when I started going down this road, it wasn't long before I felt the gods and had a true God experience. So that's how I found it. All right, let's see here. What else we got going on here? I need to take a drink of water. Ian, I see you later, Jacob. Congratulations on 10K. Expect an interesting conversation after my trip to the canyon tomorrow. I hope you meet her, Ian. Would you say you can honor and worship Yggdrasil? I don't think, no, not worship. Yggdrasil is just us. It's the world we live in. Honor the planet, honor the universe, honor the gods. It really is just the universe. I don't think there's necessarily any worship. I'm just going to have to deal with this. I'm sorry that my face is doing this. I'm wondering. I'm going to take you on a trip with me. All right. We're going to change things up here. All right, I just could not stand that anymore. Probably no one else was actually bothered by it, but my God, was it bothering me. All right, we're back, and now I'm nice and comfy and, feeling very chill. Show the cat. Where's the cat? All right, I'm going to show the cat. Where's she at? She's probably she's made a little den inside of, the dirty laundry for some reason. All right. There she is. Mary. You're famous. Look how famous you are. She's unamused by how famous she is. That cat wins over so many people. I'm actually a horrible human being. It's just my cat. I have to be really careful. I'm just wearing boxers right now, and you guys don't need to see my boxers. Do you plan on taking to trick one of the Nordic countries if ever possible? Yeah, that's the thing. Hopefully borders open at some point in the rest of my lifetime. But I was going to go to Iceland this year, actually in September, but obviously that fell through with the world. And I definitely plan on going to Iceland the moment things open up, just because that's where we know of a lot of really spiritual locations. And not to mention it's Iceland. And maybe going to Norway and Sweden. It's not huge on my list. Obviously, I'd like to. They look like beautiful countries, and I've only heard great things. But Iceland's definitely on the top of the list for me. It's got to change it to the Wisdom of Kitty. Can you take her? Can you take her to Yule? Take my cat to Yule? We'll never find her again. No. What typically happens at a pagan gathering? I'd love to be part of one day and would like to know how everything goes. You can see a lot of the pagan gatherings within, this channel. Obviously, I've recorded all the major gatherings I've been to. You can see the Southern gathering that just happened on Dylon, the Norse Paths YouTube channel. They had a gathering down there on Runa the Strong Chronicles, Runa's page. You can watch the Northern gathering video. She has like an hour and a half on there. And I'm trying to think if anyone else has any more videos out. But yeah, and then I, of course, had the 3. So you can get a good idea. Mostly it's just talking. Because so many of us haven't had the chance to have these conversations about the gods. So a lot of us just end up talking about the faith. And then at night is usually when things get spooky. And people start going into the woods, taking night walks, watching the sun, the stars, handing around the fire, drums, drum circles. Depending on the gathering, I always have at least one ritual scheduled a night where it's like, hey, we do an Odin's bloat this night, we do a fire ritual the second night, and the third night we do like a thing for the goddesses or whatnot. And so depending on who puts it on, you'll have scheduled or loosely based offerings, but typically people will go off into the woods, make shrines of the deities. That becomes a very, honestly, it's something that I think is very Wisdom of Odin cultured, is that we're really big on building shrines in the woods, shrines near trees. Every gathering we're finding Odin trees now. We're making hell offerings in half-dead groves. And so it's a very, both organic, but also scheduled. Like obviously with 65 people, we're going to have a lot more layout where it's like, hey, this is the meals throughout the week. I think things went well at the fall gathering, but my gods, were we all tired of doing dishes. We use so many dishes with 30 people. So 65 is going to be even worse. So we're going to have to be a little bit more scheduled on, hey, you got dish duty for this day. Hey, you got trash duty for this day. You're cooking this day. You're cooking this day. You're not drinking tonight, so these people can drink. We're going to have to become a little bit more organized in that way for 65 people. But for the most part, it's a very organic and fun experience with major rituals, of course, involved. Hope that gives you a good explanation. But yeah, watch the videos and you'll get a very good idea for how they are. Hey Jacob, the gods are able to take animal forms as we have read, but in theory, can the animals of Norse lore, like Odin's ravens, take on human form and walk Midgard? I have heard a lot of stories. I've personally not had this experience. Odin said to disguise himself as an old person. I guess I have had some very interesting run-ins with old people. Now, not necessarily, I don't think this was Odin, but I ran into a homeless man back in college, even before this path, and he was playing a guitar, and I had a very in-depth conversation with this dude. And he played me a few songs on his guitar. He called himself like the king of Bardstown Road. And he was like, oh yeah, I took over for the previous king after that king died and all this stuff. I'm like, what? And so looking back on that, I don't think it was Odin, but maybe it was someone like Braggy. But it's hard to say, or maybe the gods just put these people in our paths, in our lives to teach us something. But I've also heard a lot of very interesting stories about people meeting a one-eyed man that gives them some very interesting knowledge. So it's hard to say, hey, if I was old and I only had one eye, I would definitely mess with people though, 100%. I guarantee you, if I'm old and gray, I'm going to be dressed as Gandalf. I am going to be walking around the woods, and I will be giving random bits of information to wayward hikers. My girlfriend got attacked by 2 ravens. Is that a sign? I don't know. I'm so sorry. That's very aggressive. I don't think it's a sign. If it is a sign, I don't need to be the one to tell you what that means. Let's see here. Sure they weren't magpies? Yeah, they could have been magpies. Magpies are douches. You get strong Odin vibes as it is. Hey, I've joked many times before that one day I will go to the doctor. They're going to look at me and they're like, Jacob, we have horrible news for you. We'll need to remove your right eye. And I'll be like, cool, whatever. I kind of expected this. I've been ready for this for like 20 years, dog. Hey, got a spoon? Let's just go ahead and just like pop that bad boy right out and get on with life. All right. How many people are in here? 105. Wonderful. Hello, everyone. Hope you're enjoying this. I don't know how long I'm going to keep this going until I get exhausted, maybe. Like I said, like I said earlier, I'm not exactly 100% well. I'm a little bit under the weather, so I will keep going as long as my body holds up. Oh, never mind. I can't read. I found this faith when I was in a coma. Very long story, and then I came to find out I'm a descendant of Rolf Ganger, Rollo the Walker, Rollo of Normandy. Cool. Gotta go to class. Bye. It was great seeing you, Sunnydale. Thank you for joining us. 109 people in here. Awesome. They remove your eye, but you've won the lottery. Damn straight. I would love to join your real gathering, but how do I do that? So the gatherings are always first come, first serve. As far as like basically when you get me the money for it. So this one costs $6,000. But for 65 people, it's only $95 a person, so it's not bad at all. And so basically, when people confirm with me, hey, I want to go, here's my $95, I'm like, great, I add you to the list. Once we fill up 65, done. Now, the one thing without that, like, I don't want it to be this way, but since all the planning happens on Discord, they are typically the ones in the loop about it. So Discord people do get a little bit of an edge as far as like being the first ones there, because they'll be there when I'm like, hey, it's open, and then I got to make a video and then like produce it and whatnot. So if you do want to be the first ones on the list, you know, I'm so bad at self-promoting because I feel bad for it, but join the Patreon. $5 a month gets you on the Discord, and that's the best way to stay informed about the gatherings I put on, but also any of the 7 different regions. I think we have 9 regions total, including an international one, including a military one within the Discord. And we're working every week at planning gatherings and planning meetups. Tonight, I meet with all the organizers and the moderators, and we're going to talk about all the gatherings we have coming up, all of our plans. So it's a very organized community, and that's why I do keep it at as a Patreon benefit. Not to mention it's a lot of work to run. You know, I've had voice calls every week, every night this week. So it's pretty crazy. But if you want to stay in the loop, if you want to get there first, Discord's the best way to get there. Hoping with this gathering, we will have some open spots, unlike the fall gathering, for the general public. So hopefully we can get those out. But like I said, we're still waiting to hear back from the place. Is there a group in New England? Yeah, we actually have a Northeast group. Let's see. How many people are in the Northeast? I'm not even sure. I think it's like 15 or 20 or something like that. We have a couple people that are organizing there. I know we have quite a few in Pennsylvania, New York, a couple in Maine. So yeah, we have a lot of people in the Northeast. A lot of people in Ohio, Tennessee, Kentucky. Obviously, this is where I'm from. So I mean, we probably have like 60 in the Ohio, Tennessee, Indiana area. It's pretty crazy. Let's see here. What's up, brother? What's up, brother? Is there a group in Central Europe? So our European group is pretty small. I think we have a few here and there. And obviously it's hard for me to get anything organized over there because I'm not there. And especially since everything's going back down in lockdown. I know Germany just went down in lockdown, and I think France did. So it's just really hard to do things in Europe right now. But we don't have a lot of people in Europe. Like 1 or 2 per country. It's not a lot. I'd be interested in gatherings in the Pacific Northwest. We have a group in the Pacific Northwest. I was just talking with the West Coast people last night about having a gathering in the spring at Yosemite. Pew. Pew. Why is everyone pewing? Why is there so many pews? Is there a group in Texas? Oh, there's a group in Texas. We have a group in every, like, the way I wish I could upload a picture. Maybe I'll do it after this, but we have an entire map of the U.S. all labeled out. All the states have their own regions. Each region, besides the West Coast, has someone designated as the organizer trying to get meetups. Right now, I'm working the West Coast with Ian, who is in the Southwest, so like the New Mexico area. We're working together on the West Coast to try to get something going out there. Where in Pennsylvania? I'm in northeastern Pennsylvania. I forget where, Kat, if you're still in here, I forget where you guys are from. But Peculiar Vixen in here is actually one of the organizers for the Northeast region. And she's from Pennsylvania, so she might be in here still. I know you don't really like compliments, but I just can't not thank you for everything you've done. It really feels like I've come home since joining this community. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I'm really bad at compliments, but it's all part of me. Just like, I don't want to become an egomaniac about this. I'm still just wanting to be a guy on this journey, but especially hitting 10,000, especially seeing how many people are gathering and meeting for the first time because of the Wisdom of Odin, I'm truly honored. Thank you all so much, and I can't wait to drink together at the hall one day. The hall's still happening. I know I haven't talked about it in a while, but I still say until the hall because it's still happening. It's just like, obviously, the world right now does not lead to getting things done. And we are trying our best to get some land. We had some land picked out, but it fell through. But it is happening. Just give us some time, and I can't wait to drink with everyone. But thank you all for being here as well. Hall in Minnesota. Yeah, it pops up. You guys don't have enough mountains. Y'all need mountains in Minnesota, and I would be there in a heartbeat. Do you think it's against the faith if I go to Christian events, but not for the religion, mainly because there's only people I can hang out with? So, like one of my friends here in town, I think I mentioned before, Ed, he is a Catholic. And one day he couldn't go to church because he only has like one car and his wife was using it to work. So I was like, oh, dude, I'll drive you there. And so I drove him there, and like, it was weird. Like, I felt like I didn't belong there. But at the same time, I was there to support someone that supports me. Like, he's very supportive of my faith, very excited for me. He tells people all the time what I do because he thinks it's so cool. So I wanted to support him. So if it's for a good cause and you hold the gods close, I mean, obviously I was wearing my Mjolnir. You know, I enjoyed it in some aspects.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's all up to you. It's up to you how you feel. If you feel uncomfortable, don't go. But you know, it requires a very strong, disposition in order to go to a church as a heathen and sit through it. I mean, it's hard. A lot of us have a lot of worse trauma when it comes to church life. So yeah, it's kind of up to you. But I would say if you're meeting there for friends, just hold the gods close to your heart. That's the best thing I can. Let's see. Thomas, of course not. I go to Jewish festivals every year. Yeah, I know a lot of people, like especially in like Europe, that still go to like Orthodox churches and stuff like that, just because like that's where their families go and whatnot. And obviously, we don't have any organized halls or anything like that. So eventually, hopefully, we will, and then you can bring them along with you. I would like to help with organizing the Pacific Northwest. I would be very interested in that. So yeah, if you're interested, all the organization happens on the Discord. Like I said, that is Patreon benefit. So if you want to be a part of the planning process, it is a Discord thing. Floki on History Vikings would object. Gosh, we have a Floki in the community now. I don't know if you guys maybe like Chris or Dranger of Tyr. He looks just like Floki, and it's amazing. He's just a little country for it. So he's like a country Floki. Love it. Let's see. Isn't it interesting how the main god of the entire Norse religion is depressed alcoholic? Yeah, I mean, aren't we all depressed alcoholics anymore? I was at the Peanut Festival in the middle of a big crowd. And there was an older man with one eye standing at one of the games and yelled out to me, "Is that a Mjolnir?" We had a great conversation. What is the first thing I do when I convert to Norse paganism? I don't know. I mean, just do it. This faith isn't like, it's cool. I mean, like we do have these big grandiose moments, but for the most part, it's about the rhythm. There isn't a baptism. We don't need a baptism. Just go out, talk to the gods, go on a hike, feel nature, put your water to some dirt, hands some dirt, put your feet in some water, enjoy it. Just enjoy yourself. Give an offering to the gods, talk to the gods, read, do lots of research. Don't rush into it. That's the best thing I can say. Congrats on 10K. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh. Oh, I wonder, one of the reasons I waited, to say like, yes, I've hit 10K. Cause if I did it right when I hit 10K, someone would be like, yeah, and then like leave just so it's not. So I think it's at 10,084 already. It's been crazy. Like, yeah, let me check here. Analytics. Literally, so yesterday, 169 new subscribers yesterday, 213 the day before, and 83 the day before that. So it's pretty crazy how fast it's grown. And like yesterday, there was 4,500 views. Day before that, 4,600. And I'm averaging 60,000 views a month, which is crazy. It kind of freaks me out sometimes when I think about it. I'm like, right now, there's people looking at my face. And right now, 112 of you are looking at my face. I can't think about it too much. We are now at 334,000 views across the whole channel. When we'll hit 1 million views across the whole channel? Probably, I'm not going to say by the end of the year, but maybe, depending on how. I'm really excited for the music video to come out because obviously it pops up at the end, produced by the Wisdom of Odin. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I mean, especially with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I've kind of talked about it a little bit on this live stream before already. That's going to bring a lot of people to the faith, at least a lot of people interested. Not everyone will stay, but a lot of people are going to be interested once that game comes out. I mean, I'm hearing great things about it. I will be doing a full review. I'm actually, I can kind of talk about this a little bit. I don't know if I can name the name, but I will be working for a website. It'll be a heathen-based website that will launch here very soon. It's been something I've been kind of in the shadows about, but there's a new website coming out, and I will be writing the game reviews for that website. So we're going to be doing all pagan content, all Norse pagan content, heathen content, and modern media. The Wisdom of Odin videos will be available there as well. Hopefully I can say that. Sorry if I can't. But the Wisdom of Odin videos will be available there as well. Just because, YouTube's been great, but at the same time, we worry about longevity. So this will be a platform for the videos in addition to the YouTube, as well as video game reviews written by me. So I'll be reviewing most media content when it has to do with paganism. and I will be doing a full video review here for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I will be playing it for an entire week. I may or may not beat it. I mean, it's a huge game because Odyssey was a huge game, but I'll be playing it an entire 7 days or maybe 5 days, 8 hours a day, getting video footage, recording what I think, even diving into like the gameplay, the story and whatnot, but obviously focusing on the faith aspect of it. So I'll be doing a very in-depth review of it, and I will probably be doing a, hey, by the way, this faith is real and it's really not about Vikings, but I'm glad you enjoyed the game. So here's the gods. Let's go worship the gods together. Just forget about the Vikings part. Did you watch the Almighty Johnsons? I don't know what that is. Is there a connection for you between the gods and fighting climate change? I mean, I'm very pro-environment, but the environment changes. I mean, obviously humans have had an effect on the environment. This is the thing that terrifies me. I took an oceanography class in college, and we were talking about the under the ocean currents and how the carbon we're getting from the ocean right now is the carbon from the Industrial Revolution. Like, it's a 300-year cycle. So we're just now entering the Industrial Revolution of all the carbon we're getting put into our atmosphere. So we're screwed. We haven't even gotten to the worst part of it yet. So the environment is going to change. I fully, this is when you start hitting my conspiracy theory mind. I expect us to have a lot of climate change within my lifetime. By the time I'm 80, I expect the world to be a very different place climate-wise. I mean, we're seeing it every year. I've seen it. I'm 26 years old, and the climate is different. It is not the same as it was 20 years ago when I was a kid. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you can sit here and freak out about it, or you can just accept that life has cycles. The earth has cycles. It has gone through warming and cooling periods. And don't you worry yourselves, northern pagans out there, because this cycle we're in with the climate will lead to another ice age. And so we are the ones going to be prepared. And that is your conspiracy theory moment with Jacob. I do think our world is not in a good place. I'm obviously all about respecting nature. So please respect nature, clean up after yourself, clean up after others, clean the environments you're in, respect the land that's here, and that's all we can do. We have no other control than that. I want to move farther north. Warm weather isn't the best for me. Yeah, I hate warm weather. I'm so glad it's finally fall. I mean, it's like 50 degrees every day. Solid. And it's great for my Wisdom of Odin hoodie. I was wondering when I was going to plug this in. But hopefully with 10,000 subs, I can add the Teespring store to the main page. Not that I want to, again, hawk merchandise or anything like that, but I do think it's really cool. And it would be really interesting if people met while wearing the merch. Like, someone saw, hey, you watch the Wisdom of Odin, are you pagan? You're like, how into it are you? That'd be really cool. I live in Southeast Texas, and this hurricane season was intense. Yeah, it seems like it. Australia is backwards. They're starting summer. Yeah, no, I talk about paganism and heathenism through a North American perspective, which is similar enough to how the ancestors would have experienced life. But then you have freaking Australia. No, it's summer now. So weird. Hoodies with it. How into it are you? Or they need to have a little flap. So when you finally meet, you're just like, how into it are you? People with the gang lip, how into it are you on the lip? Okay. I'm going to grab my water. Here, you can come with me while I go grab water, because that's what I need. 114 people. Wow. Thank you all for joining. And so excited for 10,000 subs. Oh my gosh, it's so wild. I feel like I'm an actual YouTube now. I'm sorry if you saw my boxers there. I'm really trying to avoid that. But I'm not wearing pants. I'm in my house. Whew, I'm out of breath. Like I said, I have an infection kind of, but it's just draining me. I'm on antibiotics and all that good stuff. But yeah, I'm tired after that long walk. I have to go take care of my motherly duties. Have a great day, Jacob. Congratulations. Thank you very much. I hope you feel better soon. Let's see here. A couple years ago, I found Norse paganism By doing research, the next day I saw 2 ravens sitting on the elk skull just outside my window. Also lost my eye to a crossbow at age 10. Dude, you got some serious, like, pagan vibes then. Keep with it. Time to get back to class. Take me with me to class. Just set me up, like set my face up right next to you in class, just like right there. Or if it's online, just like put it right there in the webcam or whatever. We want the cat. Where is she? I already shown the cat. She's already got enough fame. She's got too much of a big head anyways. She's always yelling at me. Riley Burgess, thank you so much. Glad you enjoy the videos. First book you should get, Myths and Symbols in Pagan Europe or the Poetic Edda. Best bet. All right, Logan Powers, you've asked me a couple times now, what do you think about altruism and reciprocity? While Christianity was very large, focused on altruism, the Norse tales feel very much focused on reciprocity and honor. Thanks. Thoughts? I don't really know. That's kind of outside of my wheelhouse of understanding. Yeah, I'm not sure if I actually know how to answer that, but obviously this is a very honor-based faith is what I can say. I can speak on the fact of animism and the fact that we're in the center of the gods, the folk, the spirits, the animals, all those things. That's what this faith is focused on, as well as, just honor code and whatnot. I think that's best. I have to. You're making me look dumb because I don't know these words you're telling me. I didn't do good in English. I took French. See, I don't even know how to spell. I can't spell it. Altruism. See, I'm Googling. I'll admit, I had to Google altruism because it's a cool word, but I didn't know the meaning. The belief in our practice or selfless concern for the well-being of others. Okay, yeah. Put the... Yeah, it's just a fancy word of saying the folk. I don't know. I don't see like the faith necessarily being we need to take care of all the homeless people and stuff like that. I think the faith is definitely like, hey, there's people in our community we need to take care of. So I don't think it's a world at large focused faith. I think it's more of a community focused faith. Like, hey, make sure your core group of people are well taken care of. And then, people outside of that core group of people, like, they're not as important, truly. I think that's kind of how this faith is seen. And honestly, I don't have a problem with that. I think that's what we're missing in this world is we're trying to care about the entire planet. I said this before, and I think this is a very deep, this is time for deep thoughts with Jacob. Deep thoughts with Jacob. Odin and Heimdall were the only gods that could really see all the comings and goings of the world. And even Odin only received the knowledge once a day from his ravens. And yet now we live in a time where all of us are connected. We live in a time where we can get online and we see the news from around the world. We don't see the news of our local communities. We don't hear the good news. We only hear the bad news of everything that happens in the world. You hear about every death. You hear about every misdoing. Is that something that the humans, that us, are really able to comprehend? When the gods can barely comprehend it? This is your deep thought. I do think one of the core problems of the world is the media, as well as our social media. I think we shouldn't know everything that happens. Yes, it sucks when a lot of people die, but at the end of the day, in your personal community, we don't know our neighbors anymore. So the world wants us to care about these people thousands of miles away that we'll never meet, but yet we don't care for our neighbors anymore. We don't have strong community bonds. And I think that's what this faith is really big on, is focusing on strong community bonds. And it's something I've always been big on. Like, I want to know my neighbors. I want to have people that I call brothers and sisters, people I know, hey, I have something wrong. They'll drive, to come help me. That's what we need. Truly. That's how I see this faith and what we're really gaining from this faith outside of the faith itself and the gods. So I really do think that's important. All right, that was your deep thought. You got me into a deep thought and a conspiracy theory. There's a lot going on in here, but most people don't hear that until at a gathering. Just because I don't, it's an opinion. I try to keep this channel very focused on, things that can improve your life. Focus on introductions for beginners, as well as my personal experiences. I, of course, have a lot of theories on how the world should work and how it works. I might turn into a Beer and Bull Hansen channel before too long. But I do really think that one video I want to do here soon is a digital minimalism video. Obviously, minimalism is a big part of my life. And I really do think removing stuff, and I mean, I would show you on my phone. I literally have 2 pages of apps, and they're not even full. I don't like technology, even though I live in a world of technology. I have a MacBook in front of me, a phone on a tripod. I have a camera over there. You know, technology is a part of our lives, but we got to learn to live with it, and we got to understand the power of technology. Knowing the comings and goings of the everyday life is not good for us. It is not good for our health. We're living in the most anxious, depressed society in human history. And I do think one of the biggest components of that is the fact that we're so interconnected and we have not put limits to that. It's great to talk to you all. There's 121 people in here, and that's amazing. I mean, look at all of us, communicating together, people from around the world. That's the beauty of social media, the beauty of the internet. But there's so much that it causes wrong in that process as well, just because we have not put anything with ourselves. We got to put in those boundaries of what the internet is and respecting how powerful the internet is. It's crazy. All right, you got another deep thought. There you go. Conspiracy time. They want us to not know our neighbors, to demotivate us and make it easier to control. I mean, yeah. I mean, Christianity spread because it's a system of control. I mean, obviously it's not the only reason, but it's a lot easier to control people under one God, one faith, a set ideals and sin than it is to control a bunch of rabid heathens with multiple identities and, ideas and personal growth. Personal growth? Are you kidding me? I want you to listen to what I want. And I do think that's one of the reasons why Norse paganism is picking up. I mean, I think it is the fastest growing religion in the world, just because we're tired of, just following suit. We want to become these strong communities, these strong people, and learn about ourselves. And axes. I'm from Kentucky, so I have no help with any of these tips. Yeehaw games. I'm from Kentucky, so I have no help. I don't know if I understand. Just watch out for racists. They're always out there. Do you know your figly spirit animal? I'll figure it out eventually. I think it's a white whale, just because that's the only... I need to hang out over here so the words don't pop up. But yeah, my figlia, I believe, is a white whale. I'm going to explore that further. I have someone that's going to help me with that. Caleb River, I have to disconnect from the internet to feel connected now. I didn't process that until the gathering, when I completely shut everything off. It's completely changed how the world to work, how I want the world to work. Yeah, that's something. So when I went out with Sean and the celloist, I don't know if he wants me to say his name, the celloist from OC and the Jupiter. It's Chris. I'm gonna say it. It's Chris. His name's Chris. You're gonna see his face in the video. His name's Chris, and he's from LA, and he's not left the city for a few years, and he was blown away because we were in the woods, in the mountains, in a valley, in a cabin with no cell phone reception, and he hadn't had that for 2 years, if really ever. And he left so changed after even that 2 days. I mean, he thanked me, a few times just for getting him out of the house, getting him to clean air, getting him to nature. I mean, there was a creek right outside our cabin. I mean, we literally had to drive into town, sit by a gas station to call our significant others and tell them, hey, we're okay. I'll call you tomorrow. Here's a picture of my face. All right, great. We're going back in the woods. That's honestly amazing. I loved that. I love being so disconnected and then coming back with stories and having time with self-reflection and growth. That's what life really is about. Yes, we're going to have these great connectivity moments, but also you need time to disconnect. Trust me, as someone that's a social media influencer, a YouTuber, someone that talks to people all the time through the internet, it's hard to disconnect. It really is, but you need to do it for your own personal health. My family is pretty chaotic. My father is a Buddhist, my mother is an atheist, my grandmother is Catholic, and I'm a Norse pagan. You could have a comedy show based off that. What about blending pantheons? Is it okay or the worst? So you'll hear many different answers from many different people. I don't believe it's bad. I have to be very careful with these words because it doesn't mean just go ham on it. At gatherings, I'm pretty strict. Hey, this is a Norse pagan gathering. Do not, don't blend pantheons there. If I'm saying this is offerings for Odin, don't be giving to Pan or, Zeus or anything like that. This is an Odin's bloat. Now I don't mind if someone goes off and makes an altar to another deity, but we don't really have that. But gathering is pretty strictly Norse pagan focused. I know many people in this faith that worship other deities outside of the Norse pantheon, and it's paganism. I mean, we believe in multiple gods, not just the Norse gods. And you look at like Hindu gods, there's a lot of connections between Hindu gods and ours. And it's the back and forth, really. When like Thunar, like, saying Thunar or Thor, it's like they're the same god. It's just different. Or, even looking at Zeus, you could argue that Zeus is Thor, or Zeus is Odin, or, they're the same archetypes, or they're the same being, just with different names. So it's one of those things I never want to speak on like it's fact, because this is a very theory-based thing, because there's some people that will defend like, no, Odin is Odin and Zeus is Zeus. But at the same time, it's like, there's connections, and there's connections between the Norse gods and the Hindu gods, and it's like, you can't deny they're there. It's like, they're still the same beings. It's just like, we can't get so locked in and be so, rigid. But at the same time, you don't want to get crazy with it. That's my answer. A long-winded answer. Let's see here. What are your thoughts on Odin as the war maker and on battle in general? So this is another one of those things where it's like, it's really hard, because obviously, if you actually look at the sources we have for Odin, yes, he pits kings against each other, but it's not to the extent that I think it's built up to be. And it's all, it's all what's recorded. We know a lot about Valhalla because it was tied to heaven, and that was what they attached to. And so obviously War Odin was more prominent, but I don't think War Odin was the only or most prominent form of Odin. I obviously experienced Odin as more of a wanderer, but if you're in the military, I'm sure you could look at more of the war elements. I know a lot of military people follow Odin, but a lot of military people also follow Tyr. So as far as Odin as like the war maker and battle maker, the romantic idea is that, yes, he wants more souls for the Ragnarok. So yes, he wants wars for people to die. And so why would wars ever need to end? Because he wants more warriors. But, it's a romanticized idea that I think is over exaggerated, just simply because we don't know a lot about the non-war Odin. Do you think the gods are so sad about being so abandoned? Pagans and some archaeologists are the only things which kind of keeps their existence here going. I guess it's like the gods, there's a few different ways you can think about it. Man, we're getting some like deep talks here. And I have to be very, very careful, because again, these are not facts. These are just my personal thoughts and my personal journey and experiences. So by no means accept my word as law or fact in this. But my opinion on, do the gods feel sad? One, I don't think sadness is something that they can truly, attaching human things to them in that way, I think is basic in a way. Like, I don't know. I don't think the gods, they maybe get sad, but I think the gods are so much bigger than us that we can't really even like attach that kind of emotion. But I think everything is fated. I think the world needed to go through this phase of godlessness in a way, or a single godness, pushing through of the, human agenda, the human mind. And that's what Christianity allowed us to do. But now we're seeing that the ramifications of this selfish thought, this selfish idea of the world is ours, nature is ours, we own it. We're seeing now what that has really done to the society. And so I think humans needed to make that mistake. So now that we can move forward and seeing that we need to live together with nature, we need to live together with the world, we need to respect its resources, we need to respect its elements. I don't think the gods are necessarily sad. I think this has all been part of the bigger picture. We needed the last 1,000 years so we can have the next 1,000 years. Whew. Oh, my Lord. I'm tired. I need a glass of sweet tea. I actually do have sweet tea. All right. Do the gods truly need us to exist? AKA, if they are no one to believe in a god, do they disappear? Are they egregores? Egregores? So it's that relationship. So why do the gods need us? What does worshiping a god give them? That's a good question. To me, truly maybe the most basic thing is, without us, the gods would have nothing to do. I think everything's just like, what came first? The earth, the gods, or the people? I think they all three exist in unity with each other. Why would we need land if nothing to live on them? What's the point of a piece of land with no life? What is the point of a deity, a teacher, a mentor without a student? We're those students. We're trying to get better. Maybe there is some form of like ascension, that's why I love Buddhism, because the idea of ascending, once you finally get it, you finally have that moment of enlightenment, you ascend to the next phase of life. And so maybe that next phase is the deities, is the godhood. Again, opinions. But yeah, it's a very deep question, but I feel like there is an interconnectivity to us all, because without one, the other has no reason to exist. The gods would have no reason to exist if they did not have something to, one, play around with and fool with, but also to teach and to nourish. Their parents were their children. What is a parent without their child, kind of thing. All right. Bjorn Bull Hansen, family side defense is a Stoic. What are your thoughts on Stoicism? Sorry if these types of questions can be very taxing. I hope I'm answering them well. That's what I kind of expected as soon as we cross over that hour mark of the YouTube live stream, is they would start getting very deep. That's why I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I can do this all day. But Logan Powers, thank you for the hard questions. I want to give the best answers possible. Obviously, I don't have a lot of time to think on these questions, and there are a lot of them I would like to explore further. But as far as Stoicism, I think I'm reading Marcus Aurelius's Meditations right now. I think Stoicism is a very powerful trait to have, to not really be outwardly affected by the world around you. I think it's a very Odin trait, and I think that's something that as an Odin follower I've prized myself on, especially in harsh situations. I don't let my emotions show, or at least I don't let them affect me. We cannot change the world around us most of the time. Most of the time we are just in that moment. Yes, life is hard. Life is going to suck sometimes. You're going to have days that are awful. But at the same time, those days are going to come whether you like it or not. So all you can change is how you react to those situations, or prepare yourself for those reactions. And so I think Stoicism to me is the acceptance of life, and acceptance of your own flaws, of the flaws of people around you, and to be able to take the look in the good. It's almost in a way, it's almost like bliss. It's like the Buddhist idea of blissfulness. You don't have extreme anger, but you also don't have extreme joy. You're in the middle. And I think that's Stoicism, is you don't let the extreme pain hit you, but you can't let the extreme joy hit you either. And maybe that's why I'm really bad at accepting compliments, because I don't want ego, so therefore I won't let myself be complimented. I don't know. But I feel like, to me, that's Stoicism, and I think it has a very important part of this faith. Obviously, it's not for everyone. To me, I went the minimalist route. I went the, I guess, in a Stoic route in some ways. But yeah. I gotta take that sweater and just rock boxers. I gotta go. My break is over, but I enjoyed this little stream. Artist Circle, thank you very much for joining us. It's bounced around between like 100 and 120 this whole time. So glad everyone's been here. Congratulations on 10,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. Again, I'm just ecstatic the fact that 10,000 subscribers came so soon, and it seems like 11,000 subscribers is just around the door too. I'll probably be at 11,000 by the end of the next week, which is just crazy. All right. Do you think there's a way to incorporate faith into cooking like you do with other crafts? Yeah, for sure. Cooking has a very, big part of our history. It's a big part of who we are. We eat on average 3 times a day, sometimes 2. So eating something we do all the time. And so I think the traditional part, like ancestry part, cooking family recipes is a big thing. I love cooking recipes that have been in my family for years. They're all incredibly unhealthy for me, but there's something to it. There's a soul in food that has been cooked by your ancestors. There really is. Cooking the same chicken and dumplings that my family has done for the last 120 years is a mind-blowing experience. To know that I'm eating something that my great-great-grandfather ate. That's really cool. So yes, I do think there's much spirituality in cooking. I've been subbed since like video 4, and it's been amazing to watch the community grow. Yeah, Tyler Loki said you've been here for a while. It's crazy looking back at like the people that commented at first. Jupiter, the Wisdom of Odin. How do you think the universe was created, and what are the 9 worlds? So I'm thinking I'm going to make a video here very soon on the 9 worlds. I've had an entire live stream on my cosmology and the faith. So a very quick explanation. I don't think we can even comprehend how the universe was created. If it was created, if it always has existed, or if it has an end. You could sit here, the Big Bang, very simple way to describe the universe. There was nothing, and then it existed. Of course, it's something. At some point, there was nothing, and then everything existed. But I think just like the gods, the universe is not for us to really comprehend. We can't even comprehend the universe. And so I think we can't put simple ideas to its formation. and the creation myth for Norse mythos, I think, to me, reads as the creation of our solar system. The void, in between the void and fire and ice, was created the first being, and from that being, the earth was made. Midgard was made. That feels very solar system focused. I think the 9 realms can mean many different things. Sometimes I think the 9 realms are our 9 celestial bodies of our solar system. Obviously, Muspelheim is the sun, and Midgard's us. Perhaps Asgard is Jupiter. Perhaps Vanheim is Saturn. You can play around with a lot of ideas. But I think the most commonly accepted theory on what the 9 realms are the 9 planes of existence, us being in the middle of them. I think that makes a lot of sense. So I think that's probably the most commonly accepted theory. I just think I like my crazy. They're the celestial body of the solar system, man. Because I don't think I've ever heard that before, and I like that theory. Caleb River, I joined at Midsummer. It's been incredible to watch this grow for the short time I've been here. Caleb, it was wonderful meeting you too. It really was. A lot of people joined after Midsummer. That was a big transformative moment for the channel. That's why I love the gathering videos so much, because it's like wow, okay, this is real. And that truly, to me, if there's one thing that stands the Wisdom of Odin outside of all the other Norse Pagan YouTubers out there, is that I show you almost everything I do. And when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. When I say I'm going to gather the folk, I gather the folk. When I said we're going to do it again, we do it again. When I say it's going to be bigger, we made it bigger. When I'm telling you we're going to have 100 people at Midsummer next year, we're going to have 100 people at Midsummer next year, and you're going to see it in a video. And for those of you here, 14 months before then, you've heard me say it. We will have 100 people gathered for Midsummer, and I'm going to make it happen. And so I think that's if I give myself any compliment, oh God, it's even worse, giving myself a compliment. It's the fact that I came in here and I said I was going to do something, and we're doing it, and we're going to keep doing it. So it's pretty exciting. Yeah. Whew. What have been your single favorite meeting of pagans? What interaction do you remember the most fondly? This is really hard. I don't know. I don't want to choose. I feel like choosing's wrong. The fall gathering was pretty awesome. Mostly because it was a convergence of ideas, a convergence of people that I have known within the community only for 6 months, but feel like close family, meeting other members of the community that I've only known for 6 months that feel like close family, just from like opposite ends. We had people from the South come, people from the North come. Chris drove 23 hours from Montana. Several people drove from like Texas to get there. People flew in to get here. And so like seeing everyone that first night at the fall gathering and just looking at everyone talk. And people outside smoking pipes, people out by the fire. It was pretty awesome. And just waking up the next morning to the sounds of people stirring in the house. That's one of my favorite things always. Whew, all right. Randy, as you have now asked 3 times, offerings to Connection Eyeball, any advice on offerings to him? Does anyone in the chat have ideas for offerings to Heimdall? Just because I don't really know. I've never offered to him. I think drink is always a good option. Coffee. I know coffee. I've seen a lot from people for Heimdall. What do you want to say? Because there's always staying up for watch, so the caffeine, the idea of staying up. So I've seen coffee offered to him before. But if anyone has any other suggestions, go for it. But I've had several people asking me about it, but I've never had a connection with him, and I don't think there's enough research out there to have any formal. Like you have, what's it called? Like Rigskrima or Rigsama, like the story of Rig, but it's mostly just like the creation of the classes on Earth, which a lot of people are like, I don't really want to talk about that story because of like the creation of like the slave class, the middle class, and the upper class. It's a very aggressive story to have and to talk about, and it doesn't give you a lot of actually what Heimdall is like. I've read contradicting things on the topic that individual runes hold power. I wonder what you think about that. That individual runes hold power. So runes are an interesting thing. You've heard Aerith's talk about it. I've obviously made rune videos, and I'm coming to the rune debate from the modernist views. Runes are modern in a way. We know that obviously there were runes. There was Elder Futhark and Younger Futhark runes that were used. And we know that symbols were used for divination. We don't know what symbols exactly were used for divination. And for the most part, we're getting that from Tacitus's Germania, where he talks about the casting of lots. So runes are interesting because, again, the runes that we cast now aren't necessarily the runes or markings that were cast for spiritual purposes. And one, we actually don't really know, from what I understand, where algaes didn't necessarily represent what algaes was back then. Those are very modern interpretations of the runes. Now, my personal uses of the runes, these things seem to prove true. We just have to understand it's not necessarily like an ancient ancestor thing. It's more of a modern thing that has been added to the faith. But this faith is ever changing. So I do believe runes have a lot of power to them. Obviously, they're a really big part of modern culture. And I think that's just the biggest acceptance that this faith needs, is that we have to accept this faith is not the same faith our ancestors worship. We can do the best we can. I mean, there's obviously people that care way more about Reconstructionism than I do. But I accept that this is a modern faith now, and we have to, obviously not change it, but we need to make sure that it doesn't get left behind. So yes, the runes are a modern thing for the most part that have been added. The individual rune meanings are also modern as well. All right, so let's see. We are at 80 minutes. So I'm going to give this 10 more minutes to an hour and a half mark. I'm so tired. I'm running out of breath and voice. So we'll give this 10 more minutes for final closing comments and questions and whatnot. But so excited, 10,000 subs, 10,000 people now, over 100 people watching this at any given time. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for all the wonderful questions. I hope my conspiracy and deep thoughts time have been enjoyable. Maybe we'll have more deep thoughts in the future. Let's see, the Ace Space, do you have any advice on giving offerings or making altars while attending college? Sneak around campus and put around some altars. Be a little rebellious about it. You know what? We're getting late in this stream. I'm going to tell you. Sneak out there. Like, UK, the University of Kentucky where I went has a lot of little green spaces. Sneak out there, build a little altar. Why not? Like, what trouble can you get for building an altar? Like, as long as you're not, like, sacrificing a goat, which don't do that. Don't, just make a little altar, put some candles there, leave some fruit. Why not? Be a little rebellious with it. Come on now. But you can have a small little altar. I mean, if you live in a dorm, just like a little corner, or I know some people use like the corner of their desk, just have something. That's when I was in college, Moorhead, and that's what I did. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of places at the UK's campus that you can sneak around. Love the videos you do, like the ones with the Norns and Yggdrasil. You ever thought about doing a deep dive into the different halls? I've thought about it, but quite frankly, there's not a lot of information. I mean, what you read in, I think it's Grimness Mall, or is it Voluspa? I can't remember which one. I think it's Grimness Mall. About the halls is what you got. That's it. Why have a statue of Odin with horns? So I actually was thinking about making this comment because I get a lot of flack for the horned Odin statue. I don't like that version of Odin, but that was a gift. So I received that statue of Odin from a close member and a close friend of this community. It was a gift. And I think all of us had the same reaction where it was like, oh, the horns. But at the end of the day, it's a very cherished gift of mine. And it has a lot of personal meaning to me, so I do use it. I prefer the Wanderer look, obviously. I prefer the Gandalf looking look. I'm looking into getting one of the nice like wooden Odin statues. I actually prefer the more primal looking ones, the ones that are more similar to how we've seen the ancestors develop them, like very like very rough looking. I prefer those. And I'm about to get rid of it, gosh darn it. I appreciate the person that gave me that gift, but I'm getting so much flack for that thing. I've thought about even sawing off the horns, but I don't know if I want to deface a statue of Odin. But yeah, no, I've definitely gotten a lot of flack for that. And I'm like, no, it's a gift. But yeah, no. Man, I just want to say thank you. I sent you a message on Instagram. You took me time to answer it in a personal way. You helped me so much in the path. I couldn't have done it without you. Logan, you're welcome. It was great talking to you. I try my best to get back with Instagram people, but there's so many. Like I think it was last week, I answered 150 message requests. And this week I've answered like 80. It gets a lot. Sometimes I fall behind. Sometimes I look at it and I'm like, oh no. Or I'll open a message and it's like someone's entire life story. And I'm like, I can't absorb this right now. So I'll get like one of those done a day. So I try my best. How do you feel about after the how do you feel after the rune activation ceremony? I'm doing this tomorrow and trying to be prepared for possible. I enjoyed the ceremony. So my rune activation thing again came from my rune teacher. It took about 2 hours, I think, going through each rune, activating them in order. And that's why, like, yes, the runes have their meanings are more modern, but at the same time, like, I feel the power of the runes. I have felt the power of the runes, so I do not deny them. I just also don't ignore the fact that these runes did not have the same power necessarily to our ancestors, at least not in this way. So going through the activation ritual is a very tiring and laborious affair. It should be. You should be tired afterwards. You need to have patience. You can't rush through it. You know, you start with Fehu, you move to Urus, you know, keep the same pattern going. Don't try to rush through it. You get to the last few and you're like, oh, just Othala. Okay, let's get this over with. Don't rush through it. Take the time. You're going to be tired. Just savor the experience. Savor each moment with each rune. And if you feel like you rushed, restart. Don't let yourself feel rushed on rune activation. Logan Powers, here you are. You got another big question for me. What advice would you have for people who want to connect with other Norse pagans, but don't really do social media? Yeah, social. Not having social media. I mean, man, that's hard. Just wear your Mjolnir proud. You know, present yourself as a Norse pagan when you go out and about. Run into other Norse pagans is probably the best bet. You know, obviously, if there's a gathering. I mean, I have people that have come to gatherings that aren't social media inclined. They just know who I am. So, you know, keep your ear to the ground. If you want to learn more about gatherings in your local area, again, Discord's the best place to learn. But I can try to get you in contact with the right people. And yeah, like getting to a gathering is probably the best way. Like, hey, Jake's having a gathering in Montana. Let's all go to Montana. Hear about it, go meet people, exchange phone numbers there. It's probably the best way. Social media has allowed us to gather, but it's definitely not the only way. It just makes it a lot easier. Oh, yeah. What is something challenging about the reality of being a YouTube career-wise that normally wouldn't think about? I am surprised by how incredibly busy I am. You know, I used to do freelance photography. This is not my first time being like not employed for income. I used to do freelance photography as my only job. And I was surprised by how much downtime I had. You know, if I was waiting for a gig, you know, like I made decent money for a gig. And like, yeah, I would try to get gigs in between like a concert or a wedding. But there was a lot of downtime still. I felt like I wasn't busy. My gods, I have been so busy with the YouTube, you know, whether it's writing scripts, making episodes, doing live streams, you know, making designs for the new t-shirts, having gatherings, and going to meet people. Like, I haven't stopped. And I'm like, man, like, this is self-employment, right? So yeah, YouTube has been, being a full-time YouTuber now for nearly, it's been over 2 months, going into the third month. One, I am so honored that this community chooses to support me. And the last time I plug it in, because I have to now, when you support me on Patreon, you don't just support my buying of like toys. Like, you support me as a person. You know, you help me pay my bills. You help me, you know, feed myself so I can continue to make videos, so I can have bigger and cooler projects, so I have time to plan things like the music video I was a part of. And I have time to organize these gatherings. I mean, I was thinking about it, like the last month, how much has happened. You know, there was the Texas gathering, the North gathering, my gathering, the music video, Discord stuff, new designs for t-shirts. And I'm like, how in the world would I have survived this month at a full-time job? So I am so honored to be supported by the community and to be a full-time YouTuber. But now that I am, it's like I can never leave. Just because I'm so committed to so many different projects now. And I'm trying to do a side project now where, and this is completely funded by me, is doing a live action recording of Harbits the Old with actors, with location scouting, like getting a cabin in the woods, going to a location and filming 2 actors actually recreate Harbits the Old in a very cinematic way. So that's a project I'm working on now. And those ideas wouldn't exist without Patreon, without YouTube. So truly, thank you all so much. I'm not driving around a Bentley with my YouTube money or anything like that. You truly are just supporting my craft and supporting this community and supporting my ability to, you know, further this faith and further, you know, people's connections. Welcome to your new life. Oh man, yeah. This is the rest of my life. Obviously, you know, a year from now, you know, I might, you know, it's one of those things where, like, once I start making enough money where it's like, okay, all my bills are paid for, all the projects I want to do are paid for. What happens next is I hire somebody in the community to work for me. I hire a personal assistant. Okay, great. You've made enough money to pay for you, your personal assistant, all those things. Great. What do you do now? I hire someone for full-time security for gatherings. What do you do now? Oh, I hire bands for our gatherings. Oh, okay, you're making enough money to hire a band, full-time, security guy, full-time assistant. What do you do now? I start building the hall. I start doing things. And like once the hall is built, it's like, the bigger Patreon gets, the more big projects we get to do. And like, oh, we get to build a party hall for the hall, like another hall, like a side hall. We get to build a witch's hut down there. And so it's just going to keep growing. The more support you guys give, the more I'm able to do. So, okay, that's it. I don't like talking about it, but I'm so honored. Thank you guys so much. And someone asking, yes, I have merch. There is a link. I will have a Teespring shelf eventually. I actually should be able to get that here soon. Yeah, this is one of the things you can buy. It has like a custom design by me on the back. So yes, I do have merch. There's a really cool Until the Hall design, which is the most popular. It's my depiction of what the hall could look like. Oh. I'm an actor and be willing to help you in acting things. So yeah, I will be doing a video here soon talking about, was there a leg shot? Was that what's happening? So yeah, I'll be doing a video discussing my plans for Harvestfield, and I'll be going over like acting parameters, filming locations, and things like that. Obviously, like I can't afford to pay the actors, but I can feed you and house you for the duration of the filming. I'm expecting it to cost like $400 or $500 in total for the housing and food and whatnot. It'll probably take 2 days. Right now, it's just finding the right location for it. It's the best thing right now. Greetings from Sweden. I love all the people in Sweden that hop in here. So welcome. Whew. All right, guys. I think I'm out of breath. Oh, I'm getting tired. Okay. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to the hundreds of people that have joined in. I'm so excited to be at 10,000 subscribers. We have so much more exciting things coming. I have so many more projects to work on. We have so many more gatherings coming up. And I can't wait to share it with every single one of you. It was so great getting to talk to all of you. Logan Powers, thank you for all the great questions. I would hope I was able to answer them. I hope everyone enjoyed my deep thoughts and my conspiracy theories. But folk, until the hall, skull. Let me see all those skulls. Give me all your skulls. Oh, I should have done the thing I did last time where everyone skulled at the same time. That was beautiful. It was like a waterfall of skulls. There we go. Here they come. Here come the skulls. Yes. There they are. Go, go, go. Make them never stop. I love you all. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you all very much.